All right, enough Paris Saint-Germain. Although, of course, for you, you would probably say it's never enough.
Never
but
enough.
We got to move on because Barcelona stage the wildest of comebacks and the wildest of games away from home to win 5-4 with the buzzer beater from Rafinha. Improbable coast to coast. Enough basketball analogies there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Do you?
It was just incredible. Gabi, really, the fact that Barca went a goal down after 2 minutes, that Wojciech Szczesny, who started in this game, made two massive mistakes to give a goal and a penalty
Nearly
to
injured his
Pavlidis.
captain, too.
Nearly injured him. The fact that Barca were 3-1 down and then were 4-2 down and came back each time or 4-3 down to come back to win. And as much as I don't really like Ferran Torres, I don't, as you know, if you listen regularly to the show, I really believe that the pass that he gives Rafinha, that incredible counter-attack, was actually, that's what he meant.
That was intended.
That was intended.
It's the kind of thing that when like Dotti or De Bruyne do it, we're like, oh, he meant that.
Yeah.
Like he
For
wasn't
Torres,
just
people
clearing
say
the
like,
ball
he
into
cleared the ball,
space.
you know, but it seems to me that he looks up, sees Rafinha, incredible finish. I feel a bit bad for Benfica because I think they deserved a little bit more maybe, but what an incredible character from this Barca
Not
team.
much help from the referees either. I think they
Yeah.
were angry about a couple of penalties. That ball that bounces off of Rafinha's head and back into the net.
Yeah,
But
the Trubin.
we've seen that happen before, I guess, but not with a player standing so far away.
Yeah,
And
really strange.
So I'm wondering how hard must, because Rafinha obviously does not head it, right?
No, yeah.
So how hard must Ruben have hit that ball
Yeah.
for it to travel, hit his head, and go back over
Straight
Trubin?
away, yeah.
Trubin's not a small man either.
No. It was an incredible scenario, really. And well done, I guess, to Hansi Flick, because they never, well, they are sometimes boring, but in some games they've been outstanding. And how about some love, Gabi, for Liverpool, who stayed perfect so far in this Champions League with the win in 7th game with that 2-1 victory over Lille.
A lot of love when we're seeing from Liverpool that, you know, when we talk about this extra kind of dimension that they have, where even if they aren't playing great, even when he makes some changes and, you know, starts Kwanzaa finally,
Yeah.
and Bradley wasn't great against a very motivated Lille team, Jonathan David, they don't panic. They wait. They bide their time. They get a little bit of, you know, they get the early goal with Mohamed Salah. I don't think it's against the run of play in the first half because Liverpool were probably the better team, but equally
Yeah.
they certainly weren't
It was a
dominant.
good game plan from Lille in the first half hour. I was there. It was
But-
really, really interesting.
Generally shut them down, I thought, very,
Yeah,
very well.
completely.
And then obviously the Monday red card gives them the edge. You know, it's coming. And then they're rewarded with a bit of good luck because the Harvey
Yeah.
Elliott goal,
Yeah.
a lot of good fortune in
A
that.
lot of good fortune.
And yeah, this is how you go far. Is
Yeah.
you can win games like this.
Absolutely.
Another wild one at the Metropolitano, Jules. Julian Alvarez comes up big, and Atletico Madrid, despite going a goal and a man down, defeat Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, an early red card for Barrios. Bad tackle, that. Really bad tackle. I didn't like that at all.
Javi Galan.
Yeah, and then Incapie scores, and it looked like Bayer Leverkusen. There was nothing from Griezmann or Julian Alvarez in the first half. And then that one incredible ball from Griezmann, through ball for Alvarez, who gets a bit lucky because Jonathan Tah.
Has a brain fart.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened there. For somebody who's been so good last season, who's high out of contract in this summer, and
He's not helping
highly,
himself.
highly rated. And I'm like, some people like our friend Christian Carlson sees him as potentially a replacement for Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool. I'm like, wow, okay.
Okay.
But then Alvarez, and then there's a red card for Bayer Leverkusen as well. And then in the end, I don't know if Bayer Leverkusen bottled that game and collapsed, or it's really Atleti who won it. But the character again that they showed, I think, is the 4th game in this Champions League where they score in the 90th plus minute.
It feeds the legend of El Cholo. I didn't think Atleti were great, but I think it's Bayer Leverkusen who bottled it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for the high line. We saw it in the Barcelona game too, but people figure out, hey, look, if I play a high line, I just go and I just hit a diagonal ball over the top. How are you going to stop me? It becomes a foot race.
Yeah.
And one slip, one, error in reacting, and they're through on goal.
Inter, a third gap after Lautaro Martinez goal, gives them 3 points away at Sparta Prague. Should have taken a little bit more seriously that game?
No, it was my question is should they be taken more seriously
But they
to
are
win
taken
the
seriously.
Champions? No, they're not. It's
They
Liverpool,
are.
this Barcelona, blah blah.
I disagree.
No, but I was going to say I think they've got a lot to prove. I think They have the experience, they have the individuals, and Lautaro scoring again, and he saved them. I don't think they look anywhere near this season as strong as they looked last year or the year before, at this stage anyway. Real Madrid beat up Salzburg 5-1 as Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Vinicius all get on the score sheet. Does this mean they're not as unbalanced as they say they are, and they can play with Bellingham and Modric and Valverde right back? Or is it just that Salzburg are really, really, really bad, even despite the fact that Pep Linders is gone?
Yeah, Pep Linders is gone. They're still very bad. One of the worst teams in this competition, but I think in recent Champions League campaigns as well. And for Real Madrid, they can play like that. They can play with the front four. Vinicius was there because obviously he's not suspended in the Champions League, and Mbappe and Rodrigo and Bellingham, it's no problem against teams like that who are that bad. So the gap is too big anyway. It's more against teams that are much better than Salzburg, and Real Madrid will face those later in the Champions League, that there might be a problem of not being balanced enough.
They were phenomenal, entertaining. The one thing I don't get
great assist by Bellingham.
The little back heel.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're going to do this, and look, I'm for Valverde right back, and I'm for Ceballos starting, but I don't understand. Why not use this game to play Brahim Diaz or Arda or somebody else on the right wing? Because this tells and test out the chemistry.
Yeah.
Because this to me says you are committed to this Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius thing, which I just don't think is a good idea if you're going to have Bellingham behind.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Santi Jimenez bags 2 goals as Feyenoord trounced Bayern 3-0. Gab, you didn't see this one coming, did you?
Nope. And it is amazing how... What I love about the Dutch league, we make fun of the Eredivisie all the time, is that you can have Peter Bosch on one end, and you can have Brian Priske, whose name must be Briano Prisco or something. Sometimes games like this, he plays like an Italian coach out of like the 1960s, which is fine. It was the right approach against Bayern. Bayern so wasteful, Feyenoord so clinical. Big night for Santi Jimenez. Of course, he's been linked with a move to Milan. He's come out and he said, but then he also seemed to signal to the fans that he wanted to stay. And then he's asked, what's going to happen? He's like, I don't know, but I'll tell you who does know. Almighty God knows. So, okay, since God not available for an interview right now, we just wait and see. Aston Villa fall at Monaco 1-0, and Unai Emery is very grumpy after the game, Jules.
I wish you could all see, but he put his finger on his
temple.
When he was asked the question about I don't know, I can't remember the question, what was missing, and basically he was saying that his players have been brainless.
And he did it 3 times, like the number of times that Peter denied knowing Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, which I love this biblical Unai Emery.
He said that they had the game plan and that the players didn't respect it, that he wanted the players to be smart and they were not smart. And he said, we want it and we need it, as in, I guess, the intelligence, and he wasn't there. This is a Monaco team that
had been terrible
for 2 months, that lost to the bottom team in Ligue 1 3 days before, and they literally were too good for this Aston Villa team that drew at Arsenal last weekend as well. So sometimes try to just understand the way things are going is not easy. Yet another comeback win. Gabi as Bologna beat Borussia Dortmund 2-1, and this defeat cost Nuri Sahin his job.
Yeah, this is the nonsensical way Borussia Dortmund operate in the sense that, look, now you've lost in the Champions League. House! Like all the crappy performances before. Like
they're 10th in the Bundesliga. You could have sacked him before.
Yeah, and that's what you sack him on, not for this, where, they've actually qualified. I don't see the connection. I know something happened after the game. Whenever you see reactions, after the game, that often it's either a stupid decision or something screwy. It shouldn't have depended on this game. There's rumors of Niko Kovac coming on. Shout out to Bologna. Obviously, they've had a nightmare start. They are mathematically eliminated. But they play some really nice football. Italiano has them, he's got more points than Thiago Motta did at this stage last year. He could actually be back in the Champions League next season. And Castro, by the way, is a special forward. Arsenal destroyed Dinamo Zagreb 3-0 as my boy Kai Havertz scores again. Jules, this was comfortable. More than I thought it would be.
Well, I thought it would be at home for Arsenal, and they really controlled the game pretty much. They had a little scare when it looked like Gabriel could have been injured, but he was fine.
2 left-footed center backs, something not allowed in Jules' world?
Well, no. I would have rather that than Partey at right back against Aston Villa, because I like Kivior too, but it's rarer to see 2 left-footed centre backs for sure. Martinelli good, Havertz good, Rice scored 1, should have scored another one easily. So in the end, a very good evening, I think, from Arsenal point of view. Rafael Leao scores the only goal as Milan beat Girona 1-0 gap. Good way to bounce back after that performance at the weekend.
Yeah, 4 wins on the spin, so that's good, and they're they're going to qualify, which is good. They might even qualify in the top 8, maybe. I think though they conceded way too much to Girona. Girona are not a good side. The performance is there. The result is there. Performance not there. I think had Girona equalized, I think he would have gotten slaughtered and people would have reminded him. They have a ways to go to get back to the type of performance level that they need to be at. PSV Eindhoven nearly throw it away after going 3-0 up at halftime against Red Star Belgrade with 2 goals from your buddy Luke de Jong, who you must not call Bad de Jong this time.
Not Bad de Jong this time.
Jules, but it is that Peter Bosch thing, right?
It is. Control what control. Let's keep attacking. Let's keep being exposed defensively. It's fun. He's got his WhatsApp group with Ange Postecoglou.
Exactly.
Atalanta keep rolling. It's a 5-0 demolition of Strum Graz, Gabby.
Yes, all the stars come out to shine. They all score. Matteo Retegui, Charles de Ketelaere, the Prince. Yeah. What a performance from him. And Ademola Lookman.
Right? That little slalom on the de Ketelaere goal.
But the best goal for me, I thought, Mr. Checkers. What about the previously underappreciated Brescianini?
Yeah.
The little turn. I love it when your taller players sorting out their feet. And,
really nice.
It's fun. And Sturm Graz, are terrible. Leipzig bounced back from embarrassment at the weekend with a 2-1 win over Sporting. Jules, they had nothing but pride to play for. I'm kind of impressed.
I guess this is the season, isn't it? Highs and lows and good performance, like when they beat Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, but they're out. They'll be watching the rest of the competition.
True. You're right. They could have just said, hey, we've had enough. But they didn't. For Sporting, since Ruben Amorim left the club, I think it's like 4 games in Champions League, 4 defeats or something like that, or 3-3. It's been terrible, really. But they can qualify. They right now they are qualified. It will all go down to the last game. But yeah, not a good performance for Sporting at all. And normal service resumes for Juventus away to Bruges. It's another draw, Gab.
It's another draw. Not a good performance. Way too defensive. Let's move on. Weirdly, Juve now, they can finish top 8. Or they can also be eliminated.
Yeah.
So it's, all to play for. Shakhtar keep their hopes alive with a 2-0 win over Brest. Jules, fully deserved from what I saw.
Yeah, I was super disappointed by Brest in the sense that the thing that they've done well in this competition so far is they fought for everything. They were really in there. This is a dream for a lot of those players to play Champions League. They would have never dreamed before to be able to play in this competition. So now they're there. They just never showed up, really never were there for that game. Well done, Shakhtar, because they took the game away from them, but really poor from Brest.
And it's not like as if they're saving themselves for the league or anything.
No, absolutely not. Celtic have qualified for the playoff, which is incredible in itself. The first time since 2013 that they progressed after a 1-0 win over Young Boys. This is pretty big for them.
Yeah, and by the way, this is Young Boys, the football team, not just a bunch of young boys. I've made that joke so many times, and it's so funny. It's big because you could see the frustration mounting. Kyogo Furuhashi, 3 goals disallowed, all of them correctly disallowed.
There was a penalty.
Then they miss a penalty.
Yeah.
Then Daisen Maeda gets sent off, or maybe it happened before that. Whatever. You could just feel the frustration mounting because, certainly the narrative seems to be that they have to get the points at home, right? Because they see people think that they're incapable. I think that's a little bit unfair to Celtic, but once that's in players' heads, so they have to win games like this one against Young Boys. Kasper Schmeichel making a big save towards the end, at least one, and they're through. Jamie Leveling scores twice in a 3-1 win away to Slovan Bratislava, which means Stuttgart are also still alive. Goes down to the wire for them.
Yeah, they are. And they play PSG next week in Stuttgart. And you know what? Both teams need a point. Hey, let's just shake hands. A good 0-0 draw. Everybody's happy. Everyone is a winner.
Everybody's happy. Everyone's a winner. But I think if you look at the playoffs and the pairings and the pathway, I just seriously wonder whether Paris Saint-Germain would think like that.
So, for example, if it stopped right now, PSG will play either Lille or Feyenoord or another team that is that kind of team.
Okay, so that's good.
So you take it. But there's also a possibility where they might face, hang on, because I looked it up last night. It could be also Juventus. It could be Bayern.
It could be Real Madrid.
Or something like that. There's a
possibility a Real Madrid scenario
ones. Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not who they want to play.
And that's the good thing, I guess, with the last kind of match day next week. is that it would be difficult before to know. So you would want to win, but you would not be sure exactly who you might face if you win, draw, or lose, because it would be too complicated to see. So it would be another degree of excitement.
The whole incentive thing is geared towards the fact that if you win, you're most likely going to be better off. So you're not going to be settling for a draw.
Should be.